Tesla delivered over 74,000 vehicles in February, which is a sheesh moment because the Model 3 was suspended for about 10 days. If it wasn't suspended, it would have been well over 81,000. Sheesh. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and do an update on this and see what the delivery will be in all of Q1 with every single factory in every single month. So if you guys are ready, man, then why isn't that like button smashed? I mean, we are going to be looking at the stock price based on these numbers too. So subscribe too. Come on, man. Let's go. So let's jump right into it right away. In January, they did over 66,000 deliveries in Shanghai. In February, now they did over 74,000. Again, this would have been well over 81,000 if the Model 3 wasn't suspended for about a week to 10 days. But we do know now that it's fully functional now in Shanghai. There's no more upgrades for the foreseeable future. So we can expect that they are full capacity in March. And we know that they are at capacity because Tom Zhu said that, well, in China, demand is 2x production. So we know that they're going to be, producing at the max capacity. And doing some research online, it seems like in March, they want to aim for 20,000 vehicles production every single week. Doing some calculations here, that comes down to just over 2,800 vehicles daily. So I'm going to reduce it down for March to 2,800 vehicles. Multiply that by 31 days because there is no days off or any holidays in March. And we get almost 87,000 vehicles production. So that comes under Q1 2023 of production of 87,000 vehicles and deliveries of over 140,000 if you include January and February. We are going to be deducting a delivery rate at the end, so it doesn't make sense to deduct from the ones already delivered. So we have to deduct it based on the production. Moving on to Fremont, on a daily basis, they produce around 1,700 vehicles, and although they don't tell us how many vehicles they produce on a monthly basis, how much they were delivered on a monthly basis like how Shanghai does, come on, man. Fremont, Berlin, and Texas. Come on, man. Why aren't you copying what Shanghai is doing? It'll help us investors a lot. It'll help with our numbers a lot. And Wall Street too. 1,700 vehicles in January, 2 days off, and that comes to about over 49,000 vehicles produced. In February, there's only 28 days, and we get almost 47,000 vehicles over. And in March, we have 1 day holiday, so that comes to 30 days multiplied by 1,700 production daily, and we get 51,000 vehicles total, almost reaching 150,000 vehicles produced just in Fremont, which is absolutely insane. Now, going to Berlin. Berlin is very interesting because just recently they crossed the 4,000 weekly production mark. Like, sheesh. In the previous production video of this, I was like, you know what? Let's be conservative and say that they're not gonna reach the 4,000 production weekly. But hey, I wish I didn't hold back because now in March they approved it. They said that, yep, we're now producing 4,000 vehicles on a weekly basis. Texas, not yet, but Berlin is confirmed. So that changed my whole numbers from January to March big time. January in Berlin, I'm predicting that they were producing about 3,500 vehicles on a weekly basis, and that will be around 500 vehicles daily. Multiply that by 30 days because they had 1 day holiday in January, and then we have 15,000 vehicles produced in January. In February, I increased it to 530 vehicles daily, which will be a little over 3,700 vehicles produced on the weekly, and because it's 28 days, we get just a bit less than 15,000 vehicles. But in March, that's when we cross a 4,000 production mark. And with 4,000 vehicles being produced weekly, that's about 571 vehicles daily. I reduced it down to 570 to stay conservative. Multiply that by the full 31 days. Apparently, there's no holidays in Berlin in March, so we get almost 18,000 vehicles being produced. Overall, Q1 production for Berlin, 47,500 vehicles being produced. Sheesh moment right there. Now moving on to Texas, they still haven't reached across that 4,000 weekly yet, but I am guessing they are close. I think mid-March or latest end of March, they should be announcing it. Man, Texas is moving very, very slow, man. With a factory that huge, you should be moving a whole lot faster than that. But anyways, in January, I'm predicting that they did about 475 vehicles production daily, and that's about 3,300 vehicles produced on the weekly. If you multiply that by 28 days, not 31, because there's 3 days holidays in Texas in January, so that's pretty interesting. And we get about over 13,000 vehicles. In February, I said they increased the capacity to about 3,500 vehicles being produced on the weekly, which is about 500 vehicles daily. Multiply that by 28 days, no holidays, 14,000 vehicles. And in March, I'm predicting that on the weekly, they're going to do about 3,700 vehicles production weekly. Multiply that by 29 days because there's apparently 2 days holiday in March for Texas. Man, a lot of holidays going on in Texas, man. What are y'all doing there? But with that, we get over 15,000 vehicles production. Overall production in Q1, 42,500 vehicles. Not bad at all. Overall total production, if we remove Jan and Feb for Shanghai, is about almost 325,000 vehicles. Give that a 90% delivery rate. That comes down to 292,262 vehicles, and add the ones that already been delivered. And we get a total deliveries in Q1 of 432,715 vehicles, which is not bad at all. And that's about 20,000 to 25,000 more than Q4. But will this actually happen? We gotta wait and see. Now, let's go ahead and put this number in Q1 in the stock price prediction, and let's see what we'll get, man. Are you guys ready, man? Then why isn't that like button smashed? Come on, man. Let's go. So here's the stock price prediction chart for every quarter for Tesla. I'm not gonna go over it because I go over it so many darn times in every single video. It takes a lot of time. So if you guys want details in it, check out this video over here. And honestly, guys, this is a very straightforward and simple chart to understand. So as we go forward with it, I believe you guys will understand what's happening. But anyways, Q1, we did about 432,715 vehicles, which previously it was just below 431,000. So we got an increase here. So that's pretty darn bullish. Let's go ahead and put that number in, and bam, look at all the numbers pop up, man. Love it. I flippin' love it. What's very interesting is the revenue. Look at the revenue. Over $24.5 billion in revenue and almost $4.2 billion in net income. EPS quarterly of $1.30. But this is excluding the FX currency, which, as we saw the last 2-3 quarters, it takes a big hit in net income. And I'm predicting in Q1 it's going to be around $350 million deducted because of the currency exchange from the yen to the US dollar, and we get about just over $3.8 billion and EPS quarterly of $1.19, which is the exact same EPS of Q4 of 2022. So that's pretty darn interesting. And what I don't understand is that why is the consensus for Tesla stock for Q1 85 cents? Is there something that I'm missing here? Because look, if we go to the average vehicle sold, that's 50,000, I'm guessing, for Q1. I mean, that's down about over 4,000 compared to full year of 2022. So that's a big hit. And this is including the price cuts that was taking effect earlier on this quarter. But nonetheless, we are seeing prices go back up slowly, mainly in the Model Y. So that's why I'm putting an average of 50,000 per every vehicle they sold. And yes, this includes the semi and all the other ones. So in order to see the EPS for this quarter to go down to 85 cents from $1.19, we have to reduce the average selling price for every single car to about like 32,000, which is 84 at 32.5. Yeah, 32,500, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. 85 cents is extremely bearish. I don't know who's doing that, but I think it's gonna be a record-breaking quarter for sure, and it's gonna hit the ball out of the flipping field, man. Unless I'm, missing something. Comment down below. Let me know if I'm missing something, because I really want to know why they're saying 85 cents EPS for Q1. I just can't get these numbers. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what we get in Q1, net income of over $3.8 billion, which is actually pretty darn good. Now let's figure out Q2, Q3, and Q4. And here's the numbers that I put for Q2. 450,000, 475,000, and a wicked 500,000 vehicles being delivered. All of 2023 is over 1.8 million vehicles, 2,000 vehicles more than anticipated. So let's see. Not financial advice, obviously, but always do your DD. Now, let's look at the revenue and net income for all of them. So we have 25.5 billion for Q2, over 27 billion in Q3, and over 29 billion in Q4. Sheesh moment. But the net incomes are great, but we have to reduce the FX currency exchange. I'm going to say 350 million in Q2 as well, and 375 million for the last 2 quarters. And look at that, it brings it down drastically. But nonetheless, if we can get almost 4.5 billion in net income in Q4, that's absolutely flipping ridiculous. And if we look at that, total revenue for the last 4 quarters, or pretty much all of 2023, over $106 billion in revenue and over 16 billion in net income. That is a sheesh moment right there, with an EPS of $1.36, even though we're diluting the shares outstanding about 1% every single quarter. So that's absolutely flipping crazy. Now, if you guys are ready to see the stock price, what they would be, what would trade at from now until then why isn't that like button smashed? Come on, man, smash that like button. All right, let's go. So right now the stock price is around 55 PE. I'm guessing if this comes out with, crushing earnings, it can be compressed to 50 PE. But if we are in a bullish sentiment, you can say, like we are kind of right now, then I can probably see the stock price maintaining a 55 PE, which would be around $225 bucks per share. But let's stay conservative. Let's say 50 PE, no price difference from end of 2022, not 2024, 2022 and the first quarter of 2023, even though that doesn't really make sense, but let's just go with it. In Q2, I'm also going to say a PE of 50, around 228 bucks per share, and in Q3 also a 50 PE, 238 bucks per share. And I'm going to say in Q4 of 2023, which would be January 21st to April 20th of 2024, obviously. And I'm guessing by then, man, we should have some sort of, Fed pivot, quantitative easing instead of tightening, and inflation to be some sort of control, and we could see some sort of a bull market coming back. And with that, I'm giving it a 60 PE, and we get a stock price of 297 bucks per share and a market cap of almost reaching $1 trillion actually. So really we can see sometime a year from now, we can see the stock price reaching at 300 bucks per share and a valuation almost reaching $1 trillion. That's not bad. But if we do go back in a big bullish sentiment, let's say by then they release they reveal the new vehicle, the Giga Mexico is built, and we have another Gigafactory being made, then we can probably easily see a PE of 70 stock price going to 350 bucks per share. But hey, let's not jump the gun. 60 PE with the stock price at 297 bucks per share. And if we're still in this mushy bear base market, I don't even know anymore, we can probably see a PE of 55, even 50 actually. 248 to 297. I think this is a good range to look at if you don't want to have your hopes too high. I think that's in my opinion. And so the realistic price ranges that could be trading at end of this year or beginning of 2024 is between 248 bucks per share and 297 bucks per share. So let's see what will happen, man. All the prediction. And you know what? Speaking of predictions, Tesla Investor Day gave me a whole lot of ideas, and pretty much everybody else in the whole, Tesla community, a lot of great predictions. Guys, the amount of data that Tesla revealed that day was just absolutely, it was a lot to take in. I'm still taking it in. It was like 3 hours, 4 hours long, and more news keeps coming out daily, and it's ridiculous how much news is coming out. And even till now, there's a lot of crazy stuff coming out. Like, for example, they were saying once this Gigafactory is being made, another one's going to be made at the same time, according to Tom Zhao. So there's a lot of things going around. And personally, in my opinion, these are the major things that I took away from it in Investor Day. I know the thumbnail shows crashing because the stock did crash about like 10 bucks or so that day, like 8-9%, but now it's back to what it was. Sheesh. But check it out. You'll find a lot of good information there. And guys, support the channel by becoming a channel member or getting some Go All In merch, t-shirt and wall poster are available in the link, and don't forget to subscribe, guys, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.